Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Dharma Time. I'm your host, the Dharma Guy, as always with the Dope Doctor. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I am doing well, man. I'm doing well. As well as can be expected, right? During this very interesting time we're in. Before we jump into today's topic and do what we do, first let me tell
No.
everybody, if you can see, let me go ahead. I'm gonna make you the main one here. Look at this. Right behind his head,
What?
you see Now Matters More. So 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters or nowmattersmore.org. That's nowmattersmore.org. Myself as the president and him as the founder of the Now Matters More Foundation. Our duty is to help you get help for drug and alcohol addiction. So if you don't know who to call or if you're struggling and you're looking for help, reach out to us either via email or phone number and we will help you get where you got to go, even during these times of coronavirus. We will figure it
Sure.
out. There are plenty of people still helping others. There's plenty of facilities still taking people and testing them and quarantining if they have to. But the point is, now is a great time to get help. So please reach out and we will do our best to get you where you need to be. So, um, whew. So how you doing, man? Before we get started with our little topic here today.
I'm good. I had to do the news today from home. That was different.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never
I thought
never
you
had to do the news from home.
didn't you do one like last week too on Fox? I thought it was like
No. No, that was this week. They told me last week
oh, okay, gotcha.
to set it up for this week.
So what was today's
Uh,
topic on Fox?
just how some people are struggling, and people
Right.
that have addiction issues are struggling, sitting at home, and probably going stir crazy because alcohol sales are way up. So
Yeah, I
obviously
bet they are.
they use.
No, when I went to the grocery store, the Publix I go to actually, right in the middle, right when you walk in the door, they always have these little like things set up. It's like their deals for the day or their deals for the week, where it's like buy one get one and stuff.
No.
And it's always just various different items, usually edible. Sometimes it's drinks or whatever. But today, what was it yesterday or the day before when I went in there? For the first time ever, it was alcohol. So it was just like I just remember seeing that, thinking to myself, "Oh, that's interesting."
No.
Because normally I've never ever in all the years I've been going in there ever seen alcohol as one of the, one of the deals of the week or whatever. But it's obvious
Wow.
that's kind of there's probably been an uptick in sales, so I'm sure they put it there.
Which is
But
weird because why then are so many distilleries switching over to hand sanitizer? I got this hand sanitizer, brother, and it smells like bourbon. I mean, straight up bourbon. It's from a local distillery.
it's out there
And
triggering everybody.
well, I told Dana, I said, this doesn't smell like isopropyl alcohol. This smells like real
Like
bourbon.
legit
And she goes,
alcohol.
that's weird that you say that because it is a distillery and typically they make bourbon. I was
Wow,
like,
wow, that's funny.
well, there you go, there you go.
But
So
but yeah, so I agree with you. I'm overall I'm doing well. I think I have not personally hit the point where I'm going stir crazy. I think you and I are similar in that aspect. I enjoy the people I live with. I
right,
like my home.
right,
I get this, two times at least a week, and then also you
yeah,
and I have started doing more online gaming where we kind of
right.
chit chat and do that. I've been watching shows, so
Yep.
I've had plenty. I've still kind of essentially had my my outlets, if you will, because
Yeah.
I'm not one that goes out and parties or things of that nature.
Right.
So I've actually had almost more access to the things that kind of do it for me, if you will. But the one thing I have been kind of dealing with, and that's why we're doing today's show, and we talked about this a little bit on Friday with the Couch Live.
Yeah.
What's been interesting for me, anyways, is the parenting aspect of the coronavirus lockdown and things of that nature. Between myself, others that I know, things I've seen on TV, it seems like I'm not going to call it difficult. I just think there's new added challenges that I don't know if everybody was necessarily prepared for when it comes
Uh,
to parenting during this coronavirus. And I think each age group has come with its own unique challenges as well. Because even in my house, I've got living in my home, I've got 8, 10. Hey, what's up, Michael? Michael May just calls us sexy fellows. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
that's nice. You.
It is very nice. But anyway, so I have 8 and 10 and 15 who are living here in my house on a consistent
Yeah.
basis. Obviously, I have a
Yeah.
20-year-old, but he's doing his thing. And so even
All,
with, go ahead.
all you're missing is diapers.
Yeah, right. So even for myself, I'm noticing there's differences even between the 8 and 10, but with 8 and 10 and 15, they all have like their own challenges that I'm realizing that have
Yeah.
required attention basically. We were on, I think, on Friday with some people, and they were talking about how they were, even themselves, just trying. I think it was Dr. Bosa, as a matter of fact. She was one of our viewers. Uh,
Barbosa.
Barbosa, okay. One of our good friends of the show. She's on the Orange County Drug Free Coalition with us as well. Your favorite doctor for, addiction treatment and stuff. Very, very nice person. And she even commented how she was struggling with trying to balance being, a doctor, a mom, all these other things all at once. And so I figured we talk about that today, man. And you got two of your own, but you only got one living with you, right?
We should have brought her on the air then.
Barbosa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if she sees this, we'll see. Like, if she pops on here, she might be busy being a doctor right now. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, my thing is my situation is a lot easier though, Trinity, because my kids are 18 and 20.
Right.
So, the puppy's harder.
Yeah, I
The
bet.
puppy needs to
I've
go
heard
out.
I've
My
heard
kid, yeah, I know. And Dahlia and Zoe are kind of easy, and they're entertaining themselves. The hardest part with older kids is that they just spend too much damn money. Like, not Dahlia, she's not my
Right.
responsibility anymore, but Zoe, is it they get into new projects, and how do you not support that? They want to cook all these cool things. I think they created a whole cookbook.
Wow,
I mean, Zoe and Johnny made a cookbook
that's cool.
so far. I mean, they got like, who knows, 20 or 30 recipes in this book
Wow,
already, that they've just come up with and just started putting together. So,
that's cool.
so they're entertaining themselves. So I'm nowhere near the frustration level or situation that so many of you guys are. But I've been on the phone with some people that are really struggling with it, man. That they're really struggling with. There's no away time from being daddy or mommy.
Yeah.
There's no break. So,
Well, I don't know. I'll speak for myself. I guess I'll start
yep.
with the older one. I have a 15-year-old. She'll be 16 in what, July.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is the struggles that come with her aren't necessarily, like, once again, they're not the same as my little ones. The ones I'm dealing with her, and I think a lot of others are. Matter of fact, when I was at Publix the other day, I was buying supplies for my house and my mother's house.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to the lady behind the counter, we're just kind of chit chatting a little bit. First and foremost, there was like almost a fight that broke out at Publix when I was there. It was like a madhouse. It was crazy. But regardless, yeah, man, we were talking, and I think a lot of other people are experiencing the same that I'm experiencing, and that is with the older teenagers is a few things, right? Number one, they were having a hard time wrapping their heads around this whole idea of quarantine. It doesn't, I know when I was that age, I didn't watch the news. Like, it wasn't something that I paid attention to. And so for them, they don't quite grasp or comprehend the idea that you could get somebody sick and kill them when you walk out the house. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't register with them, You're not thinking about your own mortality and stuff when you're 15, 16 years old. You're invincible, you're going to live forever. So the first part was trying to get her to understand the gravity of the situation, because at the beginning she was still wanting to go with her friends and do things, and I'm like, we can't.
Yeah.
And even now, she still wants. She'll start to get kind of stir crazy because she's getting bored of being in the house. So she'll want to go and do something, or she'll want to, I don't know, like order food or something like that. And I'm like, dude, like sometimes it's after 11 even, and I'm like, hey, there's a lockdown. Like,
Hello.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get her to understand, there's a relative lockdown during the daytime to where
Yeah.
we're not supposed to go out if it's not essential. But then it's like at 11 o'clock, everything shuts down completely. Nobody's even allowed on the streets unless you're, an essential worker, basically. So I think the first step for us was trying to get the weight and the reality of the situation to register with a 15-year-old. The second thing I've been dealing with her, and I'm saying these things because I know a lot of our viewers have reached out to me personally. They've commented, so I know they're all kind of dealing with the same thing. So
Right.
the other thing I know I'm dealing with is trying to maintain some semblance of structure during this time. Because rules are important. We as adults, we understand rules. We understand the need for structure. Normally, our go-to, like, it's easy when you have school to say, "Hey, it's a school night." There's no discussion. There's no argument. It's a school night. This is our rule. You can't stay up past a certain time because you got to go to school in the morning, whatever. But when they don't have to wake up early for school, when they don't have to do some of those responsibilities, it's a lot harder to use that as an excuse because they're like, "What do you mean? I don't have to be up."
Yeah. What day is school day now?
Yeah,
I mean, really.
exactly. And so I know for her, it's just been an adjustment on our end to try to find that balance between giving her some freedom and understanding this isn't the easiest situation for her either, but at the same token, trying to continue to implement structure where we see fit, right? Like, left to her own devices, man, she stayed up to like 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, man, like just doing, stupid things. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Like, you still got to go to bed at a reasonable hour. You got to wake up. She as most
You got to
teenagers.
create the structure.
Yeah,
You got to, or she has to create the structure right
yeah,
now. I mean, this is where her decision making, and this is a conversation with any young person right now that's saying,
yeah,
listen, this is a good way to practice your adulting by making really good decisions about keeping structure, even though you don't have a responsibility at a certain time in the morning, just so
um,
you can maintain
yeah,
that level of responsibility. But one thing I've noticed, and tell me if you've noticed this, because Marissa brings up that with her the roles have reversed. Like
right,
she's having to parent her mom, and I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot
yeah,
of adults that have had to tell their parent, "Hey, hey, hey, stay home. What are you doing,
yeah, yeah.
mom,
That's
dad? Do you not know how
yeah,
serious this is out there?" So there's a lot of people who are having to, have a conversation with their parent about being responsible
yeah,
for themselves. And then the parents are, if I die, I die. I mean, that's just the way it is.
yeah.
And I
That
get that.
yeah, I agree.
There's some level of comfort in that, but at the same time, we want you to like live. So,
Yeah,
but the other thing, Trinity, is have you noticed how and I do like this, at least in our community, I've noticed this. A lot less kids at the stores. I've seen like literally no kids at the
yeah.
stores, and
Me
I
either.
like that. Because it's very hard to tell a kid not to touch things,
Very.
and so um, you know how on a normal basis, there's probably people that have seen somebody get so mad at their young child for touching things that the young
Right.
kid almost gets like
Scolded.
violently attacked
Yeah,
because right,
yeah,
ripped apart. Right now, it might even get real deadly. So it's good to see so many parents like do the one person go in or two people
yeah.
go in and the kids are not there thing. So I'm pretty impressed about that, to be
Oddly
honest with
enough, the thing that I've seen a lot of, aside from the missing kids, is I've seen a lot of men looking lost. It seems like a lot of the dads and the fathers have been, volunteered to go, and they're just walking around lost, like they don't know where to go,
you.
like
So
they've
they
never
don't know
been
what aisle
to
to go to.
exactly. Thankfully, I do a lot of grocery shopping here as well, and I
Yeah,
was single for many years, so I did my own grocery shopping. So like I know my way around a grocery store, but I definitely have noticed a lot of gentlemen completely lost trying to figure out where they're going. So, but yeah, I mean, as far as the parenting, parenting our parents. Thankfully, I haven't really had to do much of that personally with my mom. But I do know that my mom is bullheaded, so she does have her moments where she's like, "Look, man," and you can't blame her either, right? Like, once you've reached a certain level, the rules change, right? As you've pointed out numerous times, as far as addiction and
reach a certain
stuff.
level or reach a certain age. What do you saying? Because she's watching right
I'm
now,
saying
so
age
just
is
be very
leveling
clear
up. I'm
about
saying
what you mean by
you've leveled up,
level.
man.
She's not in a computer game. She's not.
It's
I
life,
know
the
we're
game of
playing
life,
chess and
baby,
stuff.
the game of
She
life.
leveled. She leveled up.
But no, like once you reach a certain age of seniority, like whatever you want to call it, man. The point is, the rules change, right? Like once you're at a certain age, who am I to tell like a 70-year-old who's lived 70, 80 years on this earth what they should or shouldn't be doing with their time? You know what I mean? If they're ready to go, you know what? You have that right to make that decision.
Yeah,
Now, thankfully, my mom isn't quite there, but
you're right.
she's
Right.
definitely had her moments though where she's like, "Look, dude, I've lived a life. If it happens, it
Right.
happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't." Like, and you got to respect that. You can't,
Right. Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Because if I was 70, 80 years old, the things that I say no to right now, I might not say no to. You know what I mean? Like once I reach that certain age, like, hey, bro,
50 was that age for me, bro. I hit 50 and
right?
I'm like, I'm done. But at 70, for sure, you're not telling me anything.
No. We got a
What's
comment
Michelle
here
saying
from
like that?
Michelle says, I have a 20-year-old. Here, let me put this on the stream for everybody who's
Yep.
watching who's not on here. Says, I have a 20-year-old in her second year of college. She's always been an overachiever and she's struggling with the online classes. My 18-year-old senior is doing okay with classes. She is struggling with being a senior and everything that goes with that. No walking, no grad bash, no prom,
Yeah.
etc. Now my
Yeah.
3-year-old is driving us nuts. She is way off. So yeah, so let's address that. Let's continue to address the
Yeah.
parenting part, right? So
Yeah.
I agree. My 15-year-old isn't close to graduation, so I don't necessarily have to have those talks. I know yours is dealing with the graduation because we all think that it's done for the year.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are struggling with the older ones, trying to, I guess, address that with them and get them to understand what we're doing and kind of dealing with the stir crazy. And
Uh,
then with me, with my 8 and 10-year-old, it was absolutely an adjustment at first to corral them and get them focused on schoolwork because let's face it, there's a reason why I didn't go into teaching, right? Like I kind of am in this sense, but I didn't go. I'm not an elementary school teacher for a reason. That's just not what my calling is. I don't have the patience for it. I'm not the best at
yep.
it. So it was definitely an adjustment to try to corral them, get them focused, while at the same token being able to answer them, and then balance, right? Like, thankfully, you and I have a situation where we can disappear for an hour. We have other people in our homes that can help out
Right.
and do different things. But also, like, I don't have like a 10-hour shift that I have to do. Like, we can just pop on here for a couple hours, do our things, and hop
Right.
off. But there's other parents who don't have that luxury. There's other parents who maybe they still have to leave. Maybe they're considered essential. What do you do with your kids who are at home that need somebody to watch them?
Right.
Or what if you have a job where you have to be in front of a computer for X amount of time, but then you have two kids in the other room who are needing your assistance with
Yeah.
online schooling. So let's talk about that, man. Like the balance that we have to achieve, because I think there's a lot of people struggling with that, dude. I really do.
Yeah. You're no doubt. I've been every meeting I've been on. Seems to, well, not every meeting, but most meetings that I've been on since this has started have involved at least one parent that you can tell is dealing with children because they'll excuse themselves
Yeah,
frequently. You can hear the kids asking for things. You can hear them, apologizing to the meeting or whatever
yeah,
that they had to tell their kids something, or they have to give them food, or that's normal. But
yeah.
even that is becoming like a new normal. Like
Right.
that would have been weird in a real meeting. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? At a board meeting, or if this wasn't going on, it would be frustrating and it would look like a lack of professionalism.
right,
But right now, I think we're all looking at it as kind of cute, or
right.
like we're like, oh, I can identify. Like that's interesting.
Well, I think you
Um,
just hit it on the head. Like
mhm.
I right there. I don't know if you. I'm sure you did it on purpose, but that is to me, that is the secret, right? Is understanding that it's okay. All right. I think that we as adults, we do try to not come off as unprofessional, things of that nature,
Right.
and so we do try to make sure everything's right and everything's legit before we go do like an online meeting or something along those lines. And then we can feel this overwhelming urge to like feel ashamed or embarrassed or whatever, and try to yell at the kid, "Hey, get out of here!" Whatever. Like I'm trying to stay. And I think that from a spiritual perspective, that is the answer: is understanding it's okay. Like everybody's going through it at the moment. Everybody's got that dog or that kid. Like, even on our own show, if you watched, I think it was last week. I was in the middle of doing my last 2 minutes, and
That's right.
your dog was quiet the entire show, and then decided he wants to go ahead and make himself known in the last two
Yeah.
minutes. And
Yeah.
and I think that our tendency as adults is
Mhm.
to try to control the situation and get upset because it's not fitting with what we expected it to be,
Right.
and then like feeling embarrassed or whatever, and like, oh, stop it, like we have to control it. And so I think that from a spiritual perspective, that's where we got to go with it and say, you know what, it's okay. It is what it
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
happened. I'm still able to do what I need to do. The other people who I'm talking to are most likely experiencing the same thing on some level. They might not have little kids, but like in your case, you had the dog that was barking.
Right.
I got the full gamut. So at any moment, you might see my dogs come in, my kids will go. Like it's chaos. And so I think that urge to control is what we got to learn how to let go a little bit, and which is awesome because if it's a skill that we can get better at now, once this stuff kind of subsides, when we go in the real world, we can continue to use that skill because in life, let's face it, it's going to be okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, I think the real key is what we were kind of tapping into earlier, which is you got to keep that structure. You got to
Yeah,
create a routine within your home that maintains a certain level of structure because that's how everybody can keep their sanity, and that's how your expectations aren't bled into.
yeah,
I mean, like for instance, my work is already at weird times, right? Like we know what we when we do the show times. You and I know
yep,
that on Tuesdays from 1 to 2 we do Dharma Time. On Fridays from 12 to 1 we do the Couch Live. But other than that, we work at different hours.
Yeah.
It could be midnight, it could be 8 a.m., it could be, a Sunday, it could be a Wednesday. It really doesn't matter. At least for this kind of work, all the
Yeah.
WPSN 99 .com work, or the Now Matters More Foundation work, Surf Monkey Media work. Now, outside of that, it's a little bit different. So those things that we can relate to with other people, like if they're at 9 to 5, they're supposed to be somehow, I don't know, responsible at an office, and they're sitting in front of this computer. Well, their kids see them at home, so their kids don't know that mommy's or daddy's at work right now. The kind of work where you can't ask for something right now. No, you're going to have to wait a few minutes. So I think part of that is us relating, trying to at least relate a little bit to them and say, that's got to be really difficult for you, because you got to put your mommy or daddy hat on, and then you put your work hat on, and mommy and daddy hat on, and that should be a different hat, right? You shouldn't behave the same with your family as you do in professional relationships and other relationships. So it's not a fake thing. It's not an image thing. It's reality. I speak differently with my mom than I do with you.
I would hope so.
We have a certain way we have a certain way we communicate, and then I have a certain way with my mother that I communicate, and that's the way it should be. There's differences, and I think that's where people are struggling the most with, and that stress of that, or that anxiety that they deal with that. I think, like you said, we got to let them know, look, it's okay. This is the current norm. You don't worry that I hear your kids, or that don't feel embarrassed right now. Everybody's dealing with it. Like I said, most every meeting where there's multiple of us on it,
right,
I hear it. But some people are struggling more than others. There's some people that I have regular conversations with for business reasons, and I could just tell the kids are driving them, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, I got to be honest with you, man. My first couple days, with the lockdown, it was like that for me. It was just it was a it was a huge adjustment, trying to balance everything and be everything to everybody, basically. Trying to be super dad with the kids, trying to be the teacher, trying to be the Dharma guy, trying to be the best husband, and all these things all at once. And so for me, that's when I had to acknowledge that, and I had to step back and say, okay, like, I'm being very unskillful at the moment. So the first thing I needed to do was adjust my expectations, right? Like, I needed to adjust what I expected of myself, what I expected from everybody else, what I expected the situations to be. It had to be a little bit more fluid than rigid, right?
Right.
And then the second thing I had to do was create, routine and structure. Like, I had to say, okay, so when, my kids know, like, all right, my little ones, they know it's 7 o'clock, we're 7:30 now. 7:30, we're going to get you up. You're going to come out of the living room. You're going to get some breakfast. You're going to go into your each rooms. You're going to get everything situated for your schoolwork. You're going to stay in your rooms. You're going to, like, I just had basically routines set for them so they know what to expect. Because at the end of the day, as much as we all claim that we don't like structure, we actually do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we like some sort of accountability, some sort of knowledge or direction of what to do next, right? Like, when we have all this idle time, but we have a million things to do, it can get overwhelming, and you don't know what to start on, you don't know what to do next, and then you get frustrated and overwhelmed, right? So the idea of setting a routine of, okay, this is what we're going to do, it seems like a lot of work, but it's really not, right? Like, if you look back at your days, even through this, you can start to establish a pattern. Like, you realize, okay, well, every day I got to do this, this, and this, and so instead of just winging it, establish that as the new normal right now. Like, okay, I've noticed that every day I've got to be up at this time because I've got to do this, this, and this. That's my new routine. And then if you do it on a daily basis, not only you, but everybody around you in your home are going to start to realize that they're going to conform, essentially. They're going to start to fit into the new routine, as opposed to like a free for all. And what's going to help that is, consistency, right? Like, if you do it on Monday, you got to do it on Friday.
Right.
And so if you're consistent enough to do that, what you'll start to notice is some of the things that are stressing you out the most or concerning you the most will kind of start to take care of themselves. They'll start to kind of just, everybody else will fall in the line, and you'll notice you'll cut your stress in half. And then, you combine that with the idea of adjusting your expectations moving forward. This might not be as bad as you think it is, right? I mean, and obviously that's life in general, but we have a very specific thing that we're all focused on at the moment. And so I think that I really do believe, much like we were talking on the Couch Live, for people who are struggling with addiction, now is a fantastic time to go get help, right? Because it's a perfect way to disappear for a little while and everything else. Well, I also think right now is a really perfect time for some growth, man. Not to sound cliche, obviously that's what we do on the show, the Dharma Guy, so I'm going to put it out there. What a great time to do some internal work right now. What a great time to really step back and assess how you are handling the stress, how you're interacting with your loved ones, how you're, just how you're dealing with things. And because right now more than ever, you're going to see your areas of weakness right in front of you. Like it's going to be obvious now. Whenever there's chaos, that it rolls downhill kind of a thing. So if you're the head of the house, if you're seeing a chaos in a certain area, that's a direct result or direct mirror of something that you're not being able to handle skillfully. And I'm not blaming everybody, but it's like when my kids are running around chaos, I'll notice that it's because maybe I'm slacking on the routine a little bit, or maybe I'm doing different things, and they're not taking my lead anymore, not my direction. So it's a great time right now to really do some house cleaning, right? Like working on some things that we know, hey, I should really get better at that or whatever. Now's a great time to do it. It really is.
Well, the honeydew lists are certainly
those are long and distinguished.
Dude, I can't get away from them anymore. I mean, I think I did them all. Well, at least all the ones that. No, she'll come up with a new one as of today. But as of last night, I was caught up. But it's like, I think she's. So Dana is a great parent. So this is how she's parenting me, because I think she's parenting me. So because I don't have young kids, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to relate to this show like Dana parenting me. Instead of giving me like 20 tasks to do, right, that could be overwhelming, and then I will have, because even though it's hard to make excuses right now because she constantly knows where I'm at, I'll find an excuse to make, right?
Of course.
So every day she'll give me like one. She goes, "Can you do this?" And it's real hard not to just do that one thing, right? So I'll push that one thing off at least a day. I can do that, Trinity. I can push that, but then by the next day, I'll do it.
You start getting that look.
Yeah, but then as I'm gonna be the kid. As a kid, I want praise. I want reward now.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, okay. And then the next day, it's like, can you do this? And it's like, I wanna like credit still for the one I did like yesterday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't carry forward. So I guess what I'm saying is, when you're parenting, this might be the way you're dealing with this time period. In other words, maybe you're looking around and you're cleaning things up, and you're catching up on all the things that you felt the house needed to be done for the house, or needs to be done for the rooms, or spring cleaning, whatever it is you're doing. But remember, that doesn't mean everybody else is on the same page. So they're thinking, there's got to be at least one of the kids in your house that's probably thinking like, well, this is vacation. It's pretty cool. I don't have to go to school. I don't have to go anywhere. I can wake up late. So for them, it's harder to know that when you say do this now, that now still means now.
Right.
And that's why I think if you keep the structure in your house, and however you do it, create, have a house meeting and say, all right, this is from this time to this time, we're going to do this and this time, just to keep it in line. But explain why you're doing that. You're doing that so that if you need a favor, what I would call a honeydew list, then within that time period, if there's one to do that day, that's when you do it. If not, then you don't do it that day. And I think that's an important line of communication. I think that we just need to have, just so you don't ask me at a certain time where again, I'm being the kid, where this is game time, this is play time, this is Trinity and Louis time. She knows not to ask me stuff during Trinity and Louis time, and when we're doing whatever we're doing, because she knows that's either work or play. Right. But as soon as it's not Louis and Trinity time, it's coming.
Sure. I think it was Aaron who really said it best when we were doing the Couch Live a few weeks ago, and it was it was Aaron, so of course it was this really insightful thing, but it's true, and that is, everybody who's listening to this, you don't have to win lockdown. Like, you don't have to be like the all-star lockdown person. Like, dude, I got, I redid my taxes. I lost 70 pounds. I solved world hunger. I cured cancer. I'm good. It's okay if the only thing you got accomplished today was you made it from the bedroom to the living room. Like, it's okay, dude.
Right. Although if you can cure cancer while you're doing this,
by all means, go for it. But my point is, I do believe, though, a lot of people, like my wife is like that. And I think our wives are very similar. We've noticed over the years. My wife likes to clean. She likes
Yeah.
things to be in a specific order and everything
Yeah.
else. And so for her to be home all day, certain things that might have flew under her radar because she was busy working or doing other things are right. It's like a big billboard now pointing to every little dust ball, every little picture that's slightly tilted. She's noticing everything. In her mind, this is clean time. Like, I got to get this stuff done. And I'm not like that. I'm more of we'll be all right. I'll do that tomorrow. It's not a big deal. And so definitely finding that balance, right? And the same thing with the kids. But I think the main thing for those of you stressing out is,
Yeah.
it's okay. You don't have to be a lockdown all star. There's no award that's going to be given to you after this. That you won lockdown. If there is, let me know. I'd like to see what's going on there. But I think that's part of it, and that's where the adjusting expectations is just take a breath and calm down. Now, if you're the individual that wants to do that and that's how you're coping, that's fine. But as Louis said, you got to understand that not everybody's going to be on that same page, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like, we're all different people. We all have different perspectives. And so even with your kids, like, you can't get angry at your kids for just being kids. Like, you got to remember, some of them are just kids, dude. Like, they don't know what's going on. They don't pay attention. They're just following your lead. All they know now is like, hey, I don't have to wake up early to go to school every day.
That's it.
And so you can't get mad at them for being who they are, right? There's a thing that I used to love saying, and anybody who's spent any real time with me has heard me say, and I think it bears repeating right now, and that is, you can't expect a table to be a chair,
Yeah.
right? Like, you can't come in the room every single day and expect that table in the corner to all of a sudden be a chair and get mad at it and start yelling at it. That table is a table not because it's defiant to you, or it's just that's what it is. It's going to remain a table every single day, and at some point you're going to have to accept it that that's just a table. No matter how much you want it to be a chair, it's going to be a table every day. Well, your kids, like my 8-year-old's 8, dude. Like, he's not going to just wake up tomorrow and be like, hey, we should clean the house today. No, he's 8. Only thing he wants to do right now is play Fortnite. That's it. I don't care if his room is a mess. I don't care if he hasn't eaten. I don't care if there's schoolwork to done. It doesn't matter. His main focus is, I'm home. I should be able to do this because he associates school with leaving the house, going with teachers, doing his thing, and so during that time frame, he's just settled into the idea that this is my life. This is what I do. But when he gets home, he knows, okay, I got to do homework, and then I'm free. So when he's
Right.
home, he's thinking, I'm free. Why can't I play this? And so I can't get mad at him for being 8, and I agree with you. For those of you with little kids, yes, man, idle hands on the devil's playground. Keep them busy, or they will keep you busy. So my kids have learned when they come out into the living room and try, like, quote unquote, bugging me, or just relentlessly doing whatever. I magically start coming up with chores for them to do. And it's like, oh, hey, can you take this out there for me? Like, it's kind of it's kind of funny, but like, so we have recycling here in Orange County,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so we have two different bins, one for trash, one for recycling.
Right.
And obviously the trash, that's when our trash bag fills up, we take it outside. But for recycling, I don't put it in any bag or anything else and take it out because it's literally right outside my door. So what I might do is, like, if there's a can or something like that, I might let one or two of them pile up and I'll just take them all out at once. But if my kids are coming out, I'll tell my kids, hey, can you do me a favor? And there could be 3 cans there. I'll take one. Say, hey, can you take this one and run it out to the thing? He'll go out, dump it, come back in. Hey, can you take this one out there too? And that kills at least 5 or 10 minutes. And he's like, all right, come on. It's just a fun little way, but it's also teaching them, like, hey, maybe I should stay out of Daddy's hair because every time I go bug him, he's giving me things to do.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's just little things like that where you gotta have fun with it. Like, find a balance and adjust your expectations a little bit.
Let me ask you something because I don't think I've even asked you this question. Is like, how did you even explain it to your kids? Because you have young kids, so how did you even explain what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of words did you use just to not create that alarmist?
Right. Yeah. Well. So full disclosure, for those of you who don't know, for my 2 youngest ones, I co-parent with an ex, and so they go over there sometimes, so we split custody essentially. I get them half the time, she gets them half the time. And so some of the explanation was done in that house, and the explanation that I've done in my home, because they do they love spending time with their grandma,
Yeah.
and they haven't been able to see her. So they ask me pretty consistently, "Can we go stay night at grandma's house?" And so I try to explain to them, like, no, like right now everybody's kind of sick, right? So I
Yeah.
explained to them, especially my younger one, my 8-year-old. I just told them, like, look, sometimes when you get sick and you get sneezes and coughing and you don't feel well. Well, there's something like that going around right now, but it's a lot worse than that, and it can affect, people can die from it. And so we're trying to help others by not going out and getting them sick, things of that nature.
Right.
So I don't lie to my kids, but I also don't. I'm not going to hit them with the whole like, hey, a million cases have happened, we're all going to die. I try to give them some because they're going to follow my lead. So if I don't seem crazy and panicked about it, they're probably not going to either. So I
Right.
just calmly explain to them what's going on in the terms that they can understand. And then like my youngest will call me. Like they just called me yesterday. They were at mommy's house and they called me, "Hey, if I go into the pool, am I going to get coronavirus?" Like, no, you're fine. Like, I just spent a lot of time reassuring them essentially, and not getting frustrated. That's the main key for anybody dealing with younger ones. If they're asking you questions, that's awesome. They're communicating to you. They're bringing their fears, their worries to you. It's your job to help that along and say, hey, it's okay. This is what it is, and explain it to them. So yeah, my youngest ones, to be honest with you, it's pretty easy. They really understood it a lot more than I thought they would. To be honest with you, man, it wasn't difficult at all. I see a bunch of comments we're having here.
Well, that's why I'm reacting to. I'm trying to listen to you, but I'm reacting to Maynard and Morris are saying that I look sad. They're gonna give me.
Well, Enrique says, I did experience the lost dude zombie look in the Publix last week, while at the same time in the back of my head was thinking I have to hurry up and get out. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of like lost looking zombie people, man. It was a very surreal moment for me, actually. Like, it hasn't hit me when I've been out at doing grocery shopping because I've volunteered for it. So I've had to go out and do some grocery shopping for my home and to help my mom out and stuff. And while I'm there, man, like the first probably week or two, everything was fine. You couldn't even tell. There was like, it wasn't a reduction in people in any way. Everyone was walking around fine. But like I went, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Dude, it was like there was markers on the ground telling you which way to go in the aisles.
Yeah.
There's markers at the registers to tell you how far to stay back. Everybody had some sort of a mask and gloves on. There was like 5 people. Like it definitely felt a little eerie. It was a lot different than it was, early on for sure.
I agree. Yesterday's the first time I went to a store in a while. Dana's been the one.
Yeah.
She's been the designated person, right?
Right.
And so I went yesterday, and it was weird because like you just said, everything was structured and arranged, and like you said, there were signs like somebody actually made like signage.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a person saying, "Hey, stand 6 feet apart." There's actually things stuck to the ground, and
that's how the fight almost happened behind me.
Everybody had a mask, man. Everybody had some sort of
I didn't because I don't have any, but yeah.
Whether it was it was bandanas and everything. It wasn't like not everybody had those N95 masks. It was everybody had these like bandanas. Some people had really cool things. I even saw some people with a motorcycle. That motorcycle thing. Yeah. So I was like, before I left, Dana says, "Aren't you gonna cover your face?" I'm gonna cover my face. I'm gonna walk around because if I do it, I'm remember my hair's still kind of crazy a little bit, and yesterday I still had a beard.
He's robbing the joint.
I hadn't shaved for a week, so I'm like, I'm not doing that. But when I was there, I was like feeling like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I need to get myself a mask because the next time I go, I'm going covered up, but I'm going to get one of my old bandanas.
Right.
And
look like it was definitely it felt more real this time. But even that, right? That in and of itself also impacts people, right? That's part of the juggling to do when you're going out. Because even for myself, I think I've been pretty calm and relaxed through this whole thing. I have a very, what I feel to be good understanding of what's happening. I feel like I'm doing well right now. I've got routines for my kids. I got things structured. Like we're kind of firing on all cylinders. But yeah, to be honest with you, when I went to Publix yesterday or whatever day it was, I did have a moment of like, whoa, like should I be here right now? Like it did feel a little bit more real to me yesterday than it has been. So it did. If you're not careful, it can make you question your own, structure a little bit. And I think it's important to not do that. I think it's important to stay focused on you and what you're able to control.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with reevaluating things, but try to avoid that herd mentality. Try
Yeah.
to avoid that. You know, if things are going well at your home and everything's structured, everything's fine, everybody's okay, nobody's sick, you're obviously doing something right. And
Right.
so don't go and see something else and then now question everything you've been doing at home and come and try to redo everything, because all that's going to do is make it worse, and it's going to confuse all your loved ones at home. Like, stay the course, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think you said it best earlier when you said that, you love the people you live with. I think that's key
Yeah,
for us.
yeah,
Plus, I'm enjoying all the home cooking. I don't know about you.
yeah, man. Well, we cook
You
home all
are
the time,
though.
anyways.
You're the correct. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying all the different recipes that everybody comes up with and different things that people come up with.
Right,
I'm enjoying seeing all the creativity that my kids are coming up with,
right.
because I'm literally watching their creative juices flowing constantly,
Right.
and that's what they're doing with their energy. So I
That's
hope that
awesome.
other people are experiencing that as well. You're like looking at your loved one, and you're kind of starting to see the inner workings of their creative mind and where it goes to in
Right.
downtime. I have not seen boredom. I have not even heard my kids come to me and go, "I'm bored." I haven't even heard that.
My
It's
15-year-old has done that.
actually, well,
Yeah,
50, it's 15
yeah,
though.
it's 15
15 is a
exactly.
13 to 15, 16 that is that pocket.
Right.
You're in the pocket where you could literally be at Disneyland at any point.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
this is going to sound like a cheap ploy for brownie points, but you and I both know that neither one of our wives ever watched this, so this is
See,
straight.
mine's watching it from the kitchen, right?
Mine's in the living room. I think she's doing work actually at the moment, telework. So no, this is legitimate. This isn't a ploy for brownie points, but I actually have really enjoyed all the time I've been able to spend with my wife. Like, because my wife does work. She works at the
Oh,
VA and she does 10-hour shifts. And a lot of times when she gets home, she's tired because she's been up at 4 in the morning, whatever. So there's many nights where we don't get as much connectivity as we normally
yeah.
would. Because when she gets home, she checks out. I've been busy doing all things all day long. She's been busy. When we come home, she'll check out, kind of like get her me time, and we'll zone out in front of the TV or something. And then she has to go to bed because she has to get up at 4 a.m. So I hear these stories about people wanting to kill their spouse at the moment. I've actually been liking it, man. I've enjoyed, like, man, I've actually had it's going to be hard for me then to transition back to more time apart. I think we're going to get used to spending all this time together. But once again, I love the
I
people I'm
should
with, right? Like,
I should ask you that. Hey, Dana, you gonna miss when I go back and do work outside of the house?
be careful, we're live. She might
I
tell you
know.
something you don't
I
want to
know.
hear. What'd she say?
She says I don't leave for a long time. I go speak and I come right back, which is true.
Yeah,
I go out and I speak for an hour and I come back home.
yeah,
It's
pretty
kind
much.
or I travel for one night and then come back home. It's not much different then, is it? From your perspective, me being around all day. She likes it.
Yeah,
See?
I mean, I think, to me, I think that's
I
what
love
we
you,
can
man.
focus on, right? Is we can focus
Yeah.
on the things that we like. Because
Yeah.
you know as well as I do, man. It's easy. Even me and you, we could, if we really wanted to, we could sit back and I could start pointing out everything that I hate right now.
Yeah. Easy.
It's an easy thing to do, and it's
We could do
compounding,
it.
right?
We could do about every subject.
Exactly, and it's compounding.
Every subject, every person, every culture, every kind.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so I just choose to not focus on that. I choose to focus on the fact of, hey, man, there's a disease out there or a virus out there killing people. None of us in the house have it. We still have
Yep.
food. Like, we're still healthy. We're doing all. I choose to focus on the things that are adding value to my life, not things that are taking away value. And I do believe that is an important thing because
Yeah.
that's a slippery slope, right? Like once you start that process of thinking about, oh, woe me, or oh, this sucks, you're
Right.
probably right because it does suck. It sucks for everybody. But that inevitably leads to another 1,700 things that you don't like. And then next thing you know, you look up and you're like, dude, everything sucks. This is horrible. When is this going to end? You can kind of get into that sense of despair almost.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to stay away from that.
I agree with what Maynard's saying, man. You get to spend more time with your kids, man.
Yeah.
I'm embracing this moment. And I'm looking at it, man. My kids are at the perfect age to spend time with, man. Days go by fast. Even
Yeah.
these days go by fast. I think these days for some reason are going by faster than normal days.
Dude, I
can't
never
believe
know
it's
what day
been
it
a
is.
month. I can't believe it's been a month.
I
That's
never know what
hard.
day it is right now, man.
but I'm really, really embracing these moments. I mean, as you get older, your days get numbered.
Right.
They're tick-tocking down. I do miss not being able to see the folks, not being able to see
Right.
my parents, my mother-in-law, people that mean something to us, and we want to embrace those moments with them as well. I do miss that, but I am embracing the time with my kids a lot. And what I'm enjoying is it seems like our kids are embracing time with us, because I don't
Right.
see them asking to get outside of the house. What I instead see is Dahlia and John. They come over pretty frequently. They'll be over again today. Yesterday they came unannounced. That never happened. They just
That's
came,
cool.
and to spend the day with us. And so what I really enjoy is that they're being very responsible, and so they're trusted to come into this house. We're being very responsible, so they trust us as a house to go to. And I think that's the important thing. I think as long as we all do the responsible thing, we'll be safe. And if you can embrace these moments and just enjoy them, then do so, because you're never going to get these back, but you're building tons of memories for the future. None of us are going to forget a lot of these things that we did during this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree.
this is such a memorable point in life, time in
Yeah.
life. I mean,
Well,
you can literally do like a family journal right now and read it, to your kids.
well,
If you're a young person watching this, do a family journal right now of what you did with your family. Your
right.
kids are not going to believe that you actually had to stay with your parents for over a month, locked down in their house. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, I could never."
Yeah, it's yeah, this is new for everybody, right? Like,
Everyone.
I'm almost what, a few months shy, I guess now, of 40, and in 40 years on this earth, I've never experienced like lockdown and quarantine, like ever. Like, and my mom is older than that. I won't put her age out there, but even her, she's never experienced. So like, none of us experienced this. This is all new for everybody, and so I agree with you. How could you not look back and remember, the first time in our history this has happened, that we're aware of, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enrique said pets are being affected too. He said pets are being affected. Mr. Creeperton, I'm assuming that's his
What's
dog,
that?
is hiding more than ever, probably thinking why in the catnip are these people not going anywhere. Yeah, man, there's a bunch of memes going around. Like our animals are like, don't you have somewhere to be?
Dude, my brother sent me one that is so not my brother, is so not my brother. But he sent me this little thing. I should post it just to put. It's probably been out there. I haven't been on social media,
Right.
so I don't really know what's been put out there. But maybe I'll just post it and just give him credit for it, because he put this thing out there. It's a little dog talking.
Right.
I sent it to you, didn't I?
Yeah. Talking about toilet paper and stuff.
It's cute. It's cute, man.
That's
Which,
funny.
by the way, remember I told you I was wondering too. I mean, how we're supposed to be the advanced creatures, yet we require toilet paper.
Right.
All these animals, they have bottoms and they don't use toilet paper. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Speaking of that,
Maybe we
I've
just do.
I've been meaning to talk to you about it, but might as well do it on air here for everybody. We have some, I'll say, extra toilet paper that we thought about seeing if we could do some sort of a giveaway here. So,
Really?
yeah, man. So you and I need to talk about that. And anybody who's listening, if you got some ideas on what we could do to find a winner to give away like a roll or something like that, let me know.
Well, bro, we don't know how long this is gonna go. You better wait for that.
We got plenty, man. We got some. My wife is the, when you have the ants and the grasshopper. My wife was the ant. She's been packing and hoarding. But anyways, yeah, I think
You know who I do like seeing on here before we go on? I do like that we saw
we still got about 5 minutes.
uh, Marissa's on here, and I do like that she's on here because since we've been hearing so much about Long Island getting affected, I don't think we've had a conversation with her since. So
Yeah,
in between shows, maybe we need to check up with her
Yeah.
and see how things are going over there, because that turned into a little hot zone, and then it seemed like she got silent, just like Maynard got silent for a little bit there, and so it's good to see some of them
no,
back on.
I agree.
I was getting worried.
Yeah, man, it's definitely good to hear from some people that you haven't heard from in a while, because it is hard, and I'm starting to now see people who I know personally
Right.
having loved ones affected. Right, there was a time where I think Trump was calling it the invisible enemy.
Yeah.
There was a time where it was invisible, right? Where I didn't know anybody other than one or two of our friends that we knew on Facebook. But now I'm starting to see more and more people I know personally put something on social media like, "Hey, my brother's got it, my mom's got it, whatever." One of our mutual friends. I'm not going to put his name out there just in case he doesn't want to know, but somebody
Right.
we both know personally and professionally. His mother has it. And I know his age, so I'm going to assume his mother is in the high risk category, and so I'm sure
And
that's.
his sister and her husband.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't know that.
They're all in Jersey.
Yeah, man. So it's got to be a scary time for him, you know.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching, you know who you are, man. We wish you the best, brother.
Right.
And he actually does tune in sometimes, so maybe he sees that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that no matter how you're dealing with this, like with your kids and all that, at least if you're sitting there and you're complaining about how your kids are driving you crazy and how you need a vacation from this thing that we're experiencing, just take a moment to sit back, look outside, see some of the calm that you see when you look at the trees or whatever outside, and just know that the quality of that problem is still better than the one where my parent is on a ventilator in the hospital and I can't go visit.
Yeah.
They're states away, cities away, and even if they're in the same town, I cannot go hug my mom or dad or kiss them while they're sitting there suffering. So for everyone that is experiencing that kind of pain right now, man, I feel for you. I'm so sorry that you're going through this. But for all of us that are able to complain about some of the little trivial things that deserve complaining, and I don't mind you complain away, but also acknowledge that other people are dealing with some life issues, because that's exactly why we're in this situation in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, you touched on it, and I think we even mentioned it last week, and that was gratitude, man. Gratitude does go a long way, man. Gratitude is food for your soul. It sounds very simple, and that's because it is. It's simple, but it's not easy. Once again, it's much easier to focus on the things that are pissing you off than it is to focus on the things that are going right. You know, the things that are actually adding value.
Yeah.
When my kids come out and they're irritating me about their, because my boy will come out every 2 seconds to try to play Fortnite.
Password. Oh, I thought it was password.
No. He has
Did he
this.
figure that out yet? Is he have them?
Yeah, no, he's good with that. His thing is he, once again, he's at home, so he thinks he should be able to play. And so basically, what his thing is he'll do like one or two classwork things, like, "Hey, I'm done. Can I play now?" And
I agree with him. That's how I feel. I'll do one thing for Dana, and I think, can I play now?
No, I feel you, man.
I am on his side.
Exactly. No, I get it as well, man. The guy part of me is like, yeah, bro, let's have fun. The dad in me is like, no, you got to finish your schoolwork.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely an internal struggle for me, even because, yeah, I mean, I get it, man. The idea that they even, man, that is the other thing I think maybe.
You're not gonna fail any kids this year, man. Just whatever. Whatever.
That's the other part I think maybe we could touch on in these last couple minutes.
I think every kid should just boycott school for a while. Say, listen, parents, you don't look like you're working either. So why don't I'm gonna boycott school while we're at it.
It's a hard thing to wrap my head around a little bit, because the common sense side is like, come, stop, really.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it. But I see the schoolwork that they have them doing, man. And some of the stuff is really, it's busy work. It's not even like you're not educating them right now. Like, you just stop.
My parents come from other countries, so if this would have happened when I was a kid,
right,
they would have. I could have told them anything, and they would say, "Mama, así es, eso es lo que pasa," and I would have got away with it, bro. I'd have been fine. So for all the kids out there, hey, whatever. They're not gonna fail you.
And that goes back to my whole the balance, right? Of it's okay, right? Like, to an extent, yes, I think it's important to do routine and structure and stuff like that. But it's also important to be flexible in the sense of it's okay, man. Like,
exactly,
it's a different time, dude. Everybody's experience. It's not like you're the only house that's doing this and everybody else is going on as normal. The entire world is under some form of lockdown at the moment, and we're all just doing the best we can. And you're no different.
I'm gonna need a vacation after this thing.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
that's the real answer.
So we got we got about roughly 5 minutes left, give or take. So do you want to take a couple minutes and give your final perspective here before we? FYI, for those of you who are on YouTube or on Facebook, when we're done, after we roll the outro, we'll stay on and answer some questions and kind of just chit chat for a little bit. So, all right, go ahead. It's your thing, buddy.
Yeah. My final words to the parents are, I realize that your world has been turned upside down, and you don't get that break time away from your children. And I know you love your kids, and you don't want to seem like a bad parent, so it kind of feels weird to be a little annoyed, like you may be at point, sometimes. But, these are very interesting times, and just like everything got uprooted and changed and altered on you as far as work, so did your home life. But, for them too. But here's what you can do. Just focus on putting some time blocks together. Again, the structure is going to be your key to just relaxing yourself. And you have to explain it to all the family members in your house. If you require a certain time that's me time, then you got to get your me time. If you require some time that's playtime, family time, then give them family playtime and tell them when it's going to be. Kids like that stuff, actually. If you say family game night, they actually like family game night and stuff like that. But you got to separate it out, partition it out, but stay structured. If you leave it unstructured completely and you sleep whenever you want to, you wake up whenever you want to, and all that, I think it's going to just make it a little bit harder to for when all this ends to get back into that routine, and that's going to be a lot more important to stick to than the current routine. This one is all about just staying sane and giving you the time that you need, the rest that you need, but also giving them the freedom that they need. But structure is going to be key during all this time. Just don't let all the rules go out the window. Like if you did that with your food, how much weight are you going to gain? If all you ate was all the snack food, at least I did. I ate all the snack food that I bought for this lockdown, like on the front end. You know what I mean? And sometimes when I went to the store since, I feel like just some big pothead or something, because I go there and I buy all the nachos, nacho chips, ice cream. It's all the junk food stuff. Like I haven't had to buy meat. I haven't had to buy any of the real essential food
That's
items.
funny.
Yeah.
Right on.
Keep instructed.
Yeah, so I'm going to echo some of that here in my little quote-unquote final thoughts, I guess. First and foremost, hopefully we can get through this one without your Toby letting us know his presence.
I can't promise that.
And Michael, thank you for the comments, man. He says, great show, and he likes your ring, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to echo a lot of that, right? So my 3 tips here in essentially staying sane during these times is basically, number one, yes, structure, dude. I mean, as a parent, it's important to have structure, not only for yourself, but for your family and everybody else around. If you're trying to constantly just wing it, that's going to invite chaos and anxiety and all sorts of other host of issues you just don't want to deal with. So creating some sort of structure. Now, you don't have to be like the military and have it structured down per minute kind of a thing, but have a basic gist of, hey, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. There's some loose times associated with it. So not only you, but everybody else knows what's expected of them and when it's expected. You'd be surprised at how much everybody in the home will try to adhere to that. And then it'll bring back some sort of sense of normalcy for the most part. The next one is, keep in mind, it is okay, man. Once again, you don't have to try to win a lockdown. So the think of your structure or your routine as more of a guideline, not a commandment. It's okay to let something slide. It's okay to, if you were supposed to do this by 8:30 and you get to it at 9, it's not a big deal. It's okay, right? So allow yourself some of that, flexibility, if you will. And then, of course, the third tip I'd say is balance, man. Understand that keep the balance between trying to be productive and responsible and structured with also fun time. Allow yourself some time to have some fun, play a game. If you come together and play games together, board games. Go outside in your backyard still, get some of the sun. Like, essentially, don't have it all work and no play, and don't have it all structure and no flexibility. So try to find that balance between trying to get productive things done while also allowing yourself to really kind of accept the reality of the situation. This is ridiculous for everybody. We're all trying to get through it. Let's just make the best of what we can. So anyways, once again, thank you all for watching. The edited version will be up on YouTube later on. Feel free to share it with your friends. Make sure you subscribe and like. You can find us on social media at the Dharma Guy, at the Dope Doctor, at WPSN99, and why not do at Now Matters More while you're at it. And for those of you on Facebook, hang around after our outro, and we'll kind of answer some questions and chit chat with you all. So in the meantime, now that you know better, do better. Peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.